Good morning, this is Sheila from Cardstock Creations and Mini Albums, and this is going to be a two-part tutorial on my flip book, the wallet flip book that I created. This is my version of many versions of file folder or flip book that's out there. This is my version, and it's a pretty big album. It measures 8.5 by about 5.5 inches. So it folds out like this, and then there are two sections. One folds this way, and I'm hoping you can see that in the video, and this opens up like this, and then this also opens up this way. It's pretty big, lots of room for photos like that. And then I also have like my the waterfall, let me just fold this down, 2 waterfall pockets with a tag. And again, as always, the measurements for this will be at the bottom. So we're going to do the first part of the tutorial. We're just going to build the base. So you will need, for this flat part here, you will need a piece of cardstock that measures 8.5 by 10 inches, and then you're going to score it at 4.25 inch and at 4.5 inches, and that makes the little gusset for the top flap. I'm just going to fold that over, and then fold the next one. So that's for that. Now if you want to make your book more bulky, if you could plan on adding a lot of embellishments and pockets and flaps, you're going to have to increase your gusset. And then if you increase that, of course, the page size gets a little bigger. So you'll have to account for that within your measurements. Alright, and then the next 2 pieces, you will need 2 pieces that measure 8.5 by 11, standard size, and you're gonna score at 5 3/8 and 5 5/8, and fold those on the line. Increase that and do the same for the other piece. Okay, I'm just going to pause this for one moment. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so now that you have all your pieces folded, we're going to start to attach. So this first 8.5 by 11 piece is going to fit on the wider part of the flap, not this side. And I would suggest, unless you're really good at placing down your pieces with, if you attach it with score tape, you can go ahead and do that, but I like to use glue because I want to be able to move it around if I have to. You can use both score tape and glue if you like, but I'm just going to use glue for now. And you can slide it down. You don't want it exactly on top of that line because you want your thing to be able to close. And actually, you know what? At the bottom here, let me fold this over. I just noticed there's a little bit of an oval thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim that off. Measurement off just a bit, maybe. If that happens, just try to trim it off because you don't want that in the way. Alright, so that piece is down. So now the next 8.5 by 11 is going to attach to the bottom piece of that. And the reason why that overhanged a little bit is because you don't want to put your paper right up against that score line, because then your book's not going to fold right. So that's probably the answer why that happened. I just didn't account for that, I guess, on this one. I don't remember that happening to the other one that I made, but alright, so now you're going to lay that down. Line it up the best you can. This side's off just a bit. Okay. Alright, then you can take the bone folder and spread out that glue. Alright, so then it should fold just like that. So that's the base of it. So now we'll add the side flap. Okay, so you have two flaps. This one flaps out this way, and then the other one up the top attached this way, and it flaps out the opposite direction. And they measure 9 by 5 1/4 inch, and you're going to score at the 1/4 inch. And you can trim off the corners if you like. And then attach it using glue. I wouldn't suggest to use score tape on this because you don't want any score tape to show, because then your pages are going to get stuck together. And you want to place it down in the middle. You don't want it touching any of the score lines on the base, because your book needs to be able to fold. Try to get off any excess glue because you don't want your pages to get stuck. And I'm just going to turn this a little bit. So now we're going to attach, there's two flaps, one on either side, that measure 5 9/16 and 8 3/8. And you're going to score 1/4 inch on the longer side. And there's two of them, so I'm going to fold mine both now. I'll trim off the corners. If you're not too sure about the measurements on the ruler, like the 9/16, they do have rulers that you can print out that have the numbers on there so that you can know exact measurements. Now I'm going to glue it so that these two edges match, and leave this side that we don't want it button up against the score line there, because then that's not going to fold over. Okay, so now you can attach it with some glue. do the same for the other side. I'm just going to turn this over. Do the same. Try to wipe up any excess glue. Like, I'm just going to leave that open a little bit. So now, the second flap we're going to make is up at the top, but we're going to have it go the opposite direction. Alright, so I'm just going to turn this around. It's just easier for me to attach it. Now we'll add the other flaps. Alright, so move that over. Turn this around. Alright, so there you have it. And this folds up and flaps that way, and then it closes just like that. So now you can go ahead and add your decorative paper, and on the next video we'll be constructing the little the waterfall pocket, and there's a couple other little things I did on the inside, but I'm going to do that in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and any questions you can add them to the comments below, and I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible. And you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.